Okay, I wanted to do a demo of the bridge on the 5200. I'm not going to get into the keypad emulation for this video, but what I want to cover is kind of the analog stick. So the first one, I have a PlayStation controller here. It's tied to the console a little bit, so I can't raise it up and show you, but basically either stick on the PlayStation can change your location. It's a lot like the original stick. It's virtually impossible to play the game. In my opinion, I think they did a terrible job of making this work and making this an enjoyable game with the default stick. I think it's just absolutely horrible. But you could do the same thing here with any analog stick, steering wheel, or anything else that adjusts the analog value. But we're going to go ahead and do two options that I think make the game a lot more enjoyable. Let me go ahead and swap one of these out. Atari paddles. Probably kind of hard to see the focus there, but what we want to do is turn one paddle all the way to the left, which basically disables it so that the other paddle works. And playing this game with the paddle is just a dream. It works so much better. If I want to use this other paddle, I'll go all the way to the left with that one, and now this paddle will work. Either paddle button will fire the ball, so you can play it with either paddle. And if you have ever played this game on the Atari 5200, you're going to be in heaven here because this is a very different experience. I think there were some trackball options, in the actual Atari, but even with a trackball, it's not really ideal. It's much better with paddles. But that said, next up, this is a an Atmark Pippin controller, and it has a mouse trackball. And it's a very, very sensitive trackball. As a matter of fact, one of the things about it is if you flip it very hard, it doesn't even work because it senses so many movements. That's not a problem in the bridge. That's a problem in the actual Gamer Pro, which I'm attempting to address so that you can't actually spin it that hard. But this is actually another real fun way to play this game. Now, I'm not as good with a trackball as I am with the paddle, but that's subjective. You may be better at a trackball. And this is, again, a lot more pleasing than playing with it like a pencil stuck in a potato, which is the way they designed it. Anything else will work. You can use racing wheels. Another thing that works, I think, really well is the DJ Hero. It's a cheap option that gives you a rotary dial. And I've tested it with everything I've had, and they all work pretty well. So here's how the calibration is going to work with this thing. So currently, my control pad's calibrated. So I'm going to go into the ROM section here, and I'm going to load one that I like to use. You should be able to use any game that you're familiar with, like a paddle game. The various tools that are very available. I like to use Pete's Diagnostics. Just works really well for me. He does have this this mode, which a lot of people are familiar with, but I prefer graphical. Assuming you can see that dot, it looks like it shows up on the camera, so it's kind of right there in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that combo. We hit all four face buttons, the L button, and then up or down to change the calibration. So I'm going to go ahead and go up one, or up a few, and you can see the dot moves, or we can move the dot back down and beyond the middle part to the point where it just gets a little hairy. That's outside scope. So we just got to want to bring that in, and it's supposed to be in about the center of the screen, not necessarily the center of the box. Now you can go back to, let's see, this one here, and they basically tell me you're aiming for about 112. I find 109, 110 works much better in the case of this adapter. But you can experiment. Your console may be different, but the internal calibration is not relevant. It's not connected. It won't do anything. Even if you think it does do something, that pin is physically not connected. So it has no functionality, nor would it work if it was connected. That's not the way this one's designed. But what's important to know is that you can calibrate it, and that is how that works. So again, that's all four face buttons and L. and then you can go up or down. Now if you get lost in game and you're changing this and you want to just go back to the factory, just go ahead, hit all the 4 face buttons, the L and to the right, and that will reset your factory setting. That's how calibration works with the bridge. So again, this is the analog portion of the 5200. Anything that has a keypad maps the keypad up so that you can use keypad games. And that's pretty much it. That's a wrap. So there you have it. The Atari 5200 now has a few more options to play some of those games with. Thanks for watching.